How to make him desire you. In this training, we're going to be revealing the secrets and principles to make a man fully desire you, to want to be with you long term, to crave you, and even potentially obsess and not be able to stop thinking about you, so you can avoid pushing a man away, causing him to lose interest, or ending up being rejected and alone without a man really craving and desiring you. So, I'm Brody Boyd with Magnetize Your Man, and for over 20 years combined with my wife Antia, we've been helping thousands of successful women all over the world to get a loving, long-term, and committed relationship with a man they desire fast. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So, principle number 3 is to focus on the process and not on the outcome. So if you want a man to desire you, you first need to start moving into your feminine energy. The law of polarity states that opposite energies attract. If you want to attract a man, if you want to attract masculine energy into your life, you have to get to the opposite pole, the polar opposite, which would be feminine energy. A big part of feminine energy is detachment from the outcome and enjoying the process and being rather than doing. The masculine is focused on getting outcomes, making things happen, just like the sperm swimming to the egg. It is very focused, it is directive. It is singular in its desire to achieve an outcome. Now, the feminine is open, it is expressed, it is being, it is receiving. And so that's a powerful affirmation for you to actually use in those moments when you start to get anxious. You're thinking about him, you're thinking about the relationship, wondering if he's going to commit to you or if he's going to text you back or why he hasn't got back to you or if you said something that offended him or that he didn't like. So instead of all that, we have to redirect your energy and your focus back into the process, which is what you're learning here, which is educating yourself, which is becoming more feminine, more magnetically radiant, to attract high quality masculine men to you. And so you have to be willing to let go of the outcome. It's similar to just holding something in your hand and then dropping it, dropping the outcome, letting go, letting the cards fall where they may, and instead putting all that energy, that anxiety, that passion, that desire you might feel into the process, into becoming the best woman you can be, into being that woman, and using a lot of things we're teaching you here and practicing magnetic feminine communication and hopefully getting coaching around that and support so you can master these principles, because your whole life is going to get better. Not just your relationship with him, but your whole life is going to be better when you can learn how to be in your magnetic feminine energy and radiate and attract, signal out to the world to attract high quality, to attract masculinity, to attract people wanting to provide, to give to you, to help you, to make you happy, and to want to be your protector, provider, and hero, the men, at least, wanting to do that for you, and especially your man. So we want to work on that very closely to get you into this detachment space. I heard this quote originally from Wayne Dyer, which was, commit to the process, but detach from the outcome. You could also say, focus on the process, not on the outcome. But either way, it's about enjoying the journey, enjoying the ride, having fun, which is a big piece of feminine energy, being willing to let your hair down, enjoy, like, play, have fun with it. You don't always have to be so serious with a man. If you're on a date, if you're hanging out, or even if you're at your house right now by yourself or during the week, you can still find ways to have fun. Get out and be social. Hang out with girlfriends, do some fun activities out in nature, start some hobbies, go to some meetup groups. Like, there's things you can do that help you enjoy the process when you're not with him. And then potentially, if this man doesn't end up being the man of your life, for whatever reason, you're going to quickly and easily attract another high quality man into your life because you're available and you're open to receive that gift as well. By the way, post your comments or questions that you have below, because I'm going to hopefully start answering some questions tonight on this training and get to some that you might be dealing with a man in your relationship or in your dating and love life in general. Now, the second principle here is to show appreciation for his efforts and not just for results. The thing is, when you start using magnetic feminine polarity, magnetic feminine communication, your relationship isn't necessarily going to transform overnight. It can, and we have stories like that. However, it's likely going to be a process of him starting to step more into his masculine because you're stepping more into your feminine. He has to get used to that, used to the new polarity of him being attracted to you and him being wanting to be your hero, protector, provider. And you have to give him a bit of an adjustment period. And in this period of time, he's not going to be perfect instantly. He's not going to all of a sudden be asking you to marry him and be the perfect devoted partner and helping you and giving to you and wanting to make you as happy as possible and changing himself in different ways to accommodate that and to be a better leader and protector, provider, hero for you. So you want to look for instead, which is also part of like enjoying the process, enjoying the journey, looking for progress and looking for his efforts. Is he actually putting in effort? Is he actually making progress? Because it may be having its ups and downs, but we want to see your relationship on this kind of trajectory where it's moving upwards and getting better and better, even though there will be slight dips along the journey, but the general trajectory, we want to see it being upwards. I'm going to start calling this dolphining. The little dolphin jumping up and down in your relationship, helping to leap and progress your relationship forward. And so there's going to be moments when things might not be perfect, but we want to look for, is he putting in the effort? Is he showing care for your heart? Is he wanting to listen? Is he wanting to engage? And that's going to likely be starting that upward cycle where things start to get better and better in your relationship because he starts to get more and more into his healthy masculine leadership energy. And you continue to get more into your feminine, open, vulnerable, receiving energy that creates this beautiful dance and this harmony that allows your relationship to create polarity, to spark the attraction, to spark more of the chemistry, the love and devotion, so that he wants to give you more care. He wants to give you more adoration. He wants to give you more cherishment, which I'm not sure it's a word or not, but I'm starting to use that more and more because I like it. He's starting to cherish you, basically. That's what we want to look for, is that upward spiral. And the key here that you can start to activate more of this upward spiral is to start showing appreciation for his efforts, for the progress, because that's how you reward him in the short term and you make him feel like he's your hero and make him feel like he's doing a good job, that he's winning, which is a fundamental masculine instinctual drive to know that he's winning, to know that he's doing a good job, to know that he's able to provide. So you can reward him and give him signals that he's on the right track through appreciation and through sharing with him how he makes you feel, the good things that he's doing. Even if there's so many things he's not doing right, or if he's not even giving you much attention at all, you can focus on the small things he is doing that does make you feel good and let him know about that. Let him know how it makes you feel, because primarily a man wants to feel your heart and he wants to know what's going on within your heart. And when you share that feeling and you share that you're making me feel, you make me feel, or I feel statements. I feel so safe when you did this for me, or I feel so loved when you did this, or I feel cared for. I feel so great that we had this conversation, or I love your blank, 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 your charisma. I love your character. I love your confidence. I appreciate your sense of humor, etc., etc. So you can find things about who he is, what he does, and what he's doing for you that makes you feel good, and let him know about those things. Share it. Share that appreciation. That's part of opening up your heart, because of course we want to share the negative things as well in the right way, which we teach in our courses and coaching, how to use feminine communication to share when you are having issues and problems and needs that aren't being addressed in the relationship, because it's very important to know how to address those delicate situations. But then you allow that heart to be open for all the range of emotions, because the feminine is every emotion. The feminine is the motion of the ocean, the motion of emotion, energy in motion. It is the weather. It is the stars and the planets. It is the wind brushing between your hairs. That is the feminine energy. And so the feminine energy is changing and it's flowing and it's cyclical. And so for you to be able to share those emotions and express in those moments, that's helping him to glimpse your heart and to feel connected to your heart, which makes him want to devote and want to give more to you and want to care for that heart, because he's now starting to empathize with it. He feels it. And especially if he knows he's doing a good job, it's going to feel good to him at some level in his masculine instinct. And he's going to want to start doing more of those things. Now, you don't need to go overboard and start complimenting on every little thing he does, but you can find those key things that make you feel really special, really great, and share that with him using feminine communication. So then the next principle, principle number 1, is to express your desires without demands. So demanding something from a man would be saying something like, I need you to step up, or you're not doing what I need, or you need to change, or I need this from you, or you need to give me this, or why can't you be more like so-and-so, or I'm not getting XYZ and I need to have that for me to be in this relationship. There's ways to share all these feelings that you're feeling, but this would be in a more masculine way of communicating with him, that you are demanding him, you're trying to tell him what to do, you're controlling him, you are leading him, which is fundamentally masculine. Fundamentally masculine energy, which will push a man away or cause him to close up or cause him to become a shell of a man and submit to your leadership. So we want to look at how can you actually communicate from your healthy, magnetic, high-value feminine what you actually desire so that he wants to give those things to you. He wants to give you the desires of your heart. So we have to be able to express that to him in a feminine way, in a respectful way that's also vulnerable. And that's where magnetic feminine communication comes into place and comes into your world, that you can actually start using it and mastering it to be able to communicate with everybody, not just the man you want, but with anybody, to be able to get your desires and your needs met often and quickly, because people feel inspired, they want to help you. It involves different principles, such as learning how to ask permission effectively, learning how to communicate your feelings effectively, learning how to specify and be clear on and respectful on the actual problems or desires or needs that you're having with a man so that he can meet those needs, address them. First off, he has to understand. Because if a man doesn't even understand what's going on inside of your heart and your body, and if it's not super clear to him, he's not going to know how to make it better, how to give you what you will need in that moment to feel better. And then secondly, if he's feeling like he's being attacked by your feelings, if you're whacking your feelings over his head, or you're telling him what to do, or criticizing and blaming him, or trying to control or manipulate him in some way, he's not going to want to hear it. He's not going to want to receive that information because it'll feel bad to him. It'll feel like he's having to submit to your leadership, or it'll feel like he's a failure as a man, that he's not doing a good job, that he's a loser essentially, that he's either evil or stupid or incompetent. And that's going to feel bad to him on some level, because only an evil, stupid, incompetent man would hurt you, would do something that you don't like. And so we need to be clear on, separated from his actions, what's actually going on within you and your feelings and your body, so that you can share that with him vulnerably and respectfully, so that he is understanding where you're at. He wants to hear it. He's receiving it, the information, and then he's stepping into his masculine. He's wanting to help. He's wanting to give, protect, and provide. That's what we want to activate within a man, and that's how you can start to activate that, through being able to express your desires in the right way, express your feelings in the right way, so that he wants to help. Often, the feminine energy is not sharing solutions and not creating solutions. The masculine energy is creating solutions. So the feminine energy is simply sharing the problems, or sharing the emotion, or sharing the feeling, the situation. And then the masculine gets to witness that. He gets to observe it. He gets to hear the signal. And then he gets activated to want to help through his masculine instinct and to find the solution himself, whether that means he needs to go to therapy, or he needs to start taking the trash out every night because it's making you miserable, or he needs to give you more care and attention and consistency with his communication, or he needs to have sex with you, or be more physically affectionate with you, or be around you more often and do activities with you. Whatever the feelings are and whatever the reason might be for the problem, he gets to create the solution. And because if he creates the solution, he's going to be more invested. That investment is going to make him value you more and value the solution more, so that he actually completes the solution. He actually follows through with what he decided to do for you. So if you'd like to learn how to master all of this, and you haven't yet, I highly recommend taking our free Magnetize Your Man quiz to get the relationship you desire as soon as possible. Click on the link in our bio or in the comments and description below this video so you can get access to that today. Or you can go to our website at magnetizeyourman.com. So I highly recommend the free quiz. That's going to help you so much on this journey and start teaching you and allow us to even do this for you and coach you on how to use magnetic feminine principles and magnetic feminine communication with a specific man that you're interested in, or with men in general. If you're just starting to date, or you're out dating and you want to attract a high value masculine man to care and protect you, then this will create that for you. So I highly recommend that. Now I'm going to start answering some questions that have been submitted in here, and we're going to have some fun tonight. Charity said, I'm here. I'm glad you're here, Charity. Welcome, welcome. Nikki, welcome. Hello. So And we have a question here from Veronica. So Veronica said, he keeps choosing someone else. He says, I'm aggressive. I'm assertive. He wants me to do all the chasing. I hate it. So there's a bit of a contradiction here I'm trying to work out, Veronica. So you said that in one sense, he said that he feels you're aggressive. And in the other sense, you believe that he wants you to do all the chasing. So that's kind of a contradiction, isn't it? If he feels that you're too much and you're coming on too strong, but then he wants you to keep chasing him, it doesn't really make sense. So what I'm guessing here is that it's actually your interpretation that he wants you to do all the chasing. But then when you are chasing or when you're pursuing him or trying to get what you want with him, it's coming across as masculine, as too aggressive. And he may not have that language, but likely it's because it's coming across as too masculine. So you're in a bit of a contradiction here and a bit of a predicament. So the best way out of this predicament is you need to stop chasing him. You don't ever really want to be chasing a man. There's no feminine energy involved in chasing a man. And you also don't want to be aggressive with a man. And assertive, we'll talk about, because that's actually getting closer. If you're actually assertive, we'll talk about what assertiveness actually is from your feminine, because you do want to be assertive, but in the right way, in a respectful way. So we want to get you out of these two extremes, and where you're not chasing a man and you're also not too aggressive. You're not chasing and you're not doing nothing, and you're also not too aggressive. You're going to be entering the happy medium. So what we need to do here is get you into becoming your queen, the queen energy. Now, the queen energy is about being feminine, open, vulnerable, available with a man, sharing your feelings respectfully. And that's the key, is you're doing the feminine activities. You're being warm and gentle and soft and vulnerable and ushy-gushy, you might say, with a man, all those warm, soft energies inside of you. But then you're also being respectable with it. And you're also speaking up about your desires so that you're not coming across as aggressive and assertive. So the key we have to add for you is going to be two things, really, is making sure that you're vulnerable with him. And then number two is making sure that you're also respectful with him. If either of those two things are missing, then you're going to come across as either aggressive or nothing's going to happen in the relationship, because you're not going to chase him and he's probably not going to chase you as well. So we have to get you in that happy balance. So you're in the right place, Veronica, and we're going to help teach you and coach you on how to do this, how to actually be vulnerable, open, feminine, available to a man, but then also how to be respectful and share your feelings and your desires vulnerably, but to be respectful with him. One of the big things that can help you a lot with what you're describing is asking permission. So if you can add this piece in, which is one of the elements of feminine communication, a very important element, a valuable element, but asking a man permission allows you to have a safeguard to avoid you becoming too aggressive with a man or too controlling or too masculine. Because there's a tendency when you're unhappy with a man or you're unhappy with a relationship, then you're going to want to take the steering wheel and try to drive the relationship forward. If you're feeling anxious, you're going to be much more likely to go into behaviors where you're trying to control him and you're trying to get an outcome. You're trying to manipulate him to get an outcome, to make him give you what you want, rather than vulnerably and respectfully sharing how you feel or requesting what you want, which is where asking permission comes into place. So think about it as respectful language. When you're respectful towards someone, how does that usually sound? You know, it sounds like, if you imagine etiquette school, it involves often some of the basics around etiquette and politeness, right? Like asking permission. Do you mind if I sit next to you? Could I ask you something? Could I share a feeling that I'm having? Could I share a problem that I'm having? May I ask what you think about me? May I ask if you could help me with my car? May I ask if you could help me with my computer? It's not working right now. I don't know what to do. So these are all examples of being respectful, which puts a boundary on yourself, really, to help you to make sure you're not penetrating him energetically and not being disrespectful and telling him what to do or being too aggressive. Because he may feel it's aggressive because the way that you may be coming across with him, where you are penetrating him energetically, where you are entering his energy field through either just entering his space when he hasn't said, I'm ready to receive you, I'm ready to talk, or I'm ready to, to have you in my space. Or you're telling him things like we need to talk, or I'm not happy right now, or when are we going to hang out next? You're saying things like that that are telling him what to do, that are penetrating him, that are sharing your desires, but in a disrespectful way, in a way that is masculine and trying to control him, trying to get him to do something, rather than asking him to do something, asking him respectfully, and putting that guard around your communication so that you're drawing him closer to you rather than pushing him away. So asking permission is going to be a big piece for you. And the other big piece is going to be vulnerable communication. So sharing your heart and sharing your raw feelings without making it about him. So anytime you are making it about him, it's actually not vulnerable. It's usually trying to control him and trying to get an outcome of some type. So I'll give you an example with this. So one example could be you saying, you make me anxious, or you hurt me. So that would be a good example of saying, like, you hurt me. What you said was hurtful. So that's making it about him, right? He hurt you. He is a bad man. He did something wrong. He needs to be punished, or he should punish himself and change himself because of what he did. Like, that's making it all about him, right? Rather than, I'll give you the feminine example, the more vulnerable example that will probably feel uncomfortable for you, of simply saying, I feel sad, or I feel pain, or I feel confusion, or I feel anger even, or I feel anxiety, or I feel fear. These are more vulnerable emotions because partly they're vulnerable and they feel vulnerable because it's about you. It's not about him. It's about you. You're sharing what's going on for you, even regardless of him. You could still be feeling sad and it has nothing to do with him. You could still be feeling anxiety. It has nothing to do with him. So the way I like to think of it sometimes is like you're speaking to God. You're like, God, like, I feel sad. I feel sad. I don't know what to do. Like, could you help me? This is like an example of speaking in a way where you're not making it about him. You're making it about yourself, which makes sure you're not penetrating him energetically, and you're actually exposing your raw, open, vulnerable, feminine heart and your beingness to him, who you really are. So that's going to help you a lot. That kind of level of vulnerability, that'll help mesh it with the respectfulness, which is going to make you more of the queen energy, where you're feminine and warm, but you're also high value and you're respectful and you are speaking up and sharing your desires, rather than like a doormat who wouldn't say anything, who wouldn't even speak to him, and just be like, oh, he's not going to chase me. Well, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit in my closet and just suffer here for the rest of my life. Like, where you're not doing anything because you don't want to step on his toes and you don't want to be too aggressive. So you're just like, okay, fine, I'm done. No, we don't have to do that. We're finding the happy medium where you can still signal to a man, you can still communicate to him your needs, your feelings, your desires, but you're doing so in a vulnerable, respectful way that makes him come closer. So I hope that was helpful, Veronica. I just want to give you some starting points because this goes much deeper, and some of the deep work we do with our coaching memberships and teaching magnetic feminine polarity, magnetic feminine communication. But I wanted to give you that to start opening your eyes and opening your heart to what could be possible with your relationship with a man. And these are just some of the starting points. And if you want more coaching on that, of course, our memberships, we'll give you specific steps for your relationship. And I want to hear more details, but that's going to be a good starting point for you. All right. So M said, I have no family. I moved from my boyfriend's town because of where we live. He has a job, but no quality time and sex. When I share, I'm sad, want to connect. He says he's too tired and has no time to relax. He spends it fully in, and then the rest of your message, oh, you said here, in video games. He says if I want anything, I should basically go after him, and says I shouldn't be grateful. I should be grateful he provides food. It's not his job, and he's not my father. He provides basic food. We live in his mom's house. Oh my gosh. Yeah, sounds like I don't want to be rude around this guy, but yeah, let's just say he doesn't sound like the most high value man I've ever heard of. But there's a couple of challenges here. So I'll go back to the first piece. So he's not giving you time. He's not giving you time or sex. He's not listening or caring about your feelings when you say you're sad and want to connect. He says he's tired. He has no time. He's rather be spending it with his video games, and that he's providing you with food, which is good, but then he's also saying, you should be grateful, that's not my job, and I'm not your daddy. He basically doesn't really want to be your hero, protector, provider. Like, he's doing it reluctantly, but he's not really doing it from his masculine instinct and from his masculine inspiration. So part of the problem is this man doesn't sound like a very masculine guy. He's caught in video game addiction, which unfortunately a lot of men are these days. And that's where he's getting a sense of masculine purpose and masculine meaning from, because he's not getting that from his daily life. Now, the good news is you can become his video game. That's what we need to activate, is where you become his video game. You become the adventure, the challenge, the reward, the connection, the camaraderie. Like, you can become the video game for him. And that's what we have to start doing to activate his masculine, to get him out of this loserhood that he's in, where he's not really following a purpose, it doesn't sound like, and he's not really showing care for you or being your hero, and he's doing it reluctantly at best. So you need to use a lot of the principles that we're teaching you. I would also recommend taking our Magnetic Feminine 90-day challenge, which we have available by taking our free quiz, and in our coaching courses and our coaching, we teach the Magnetic Feminine challenge, where you have a period of 90 days that you learn these principles, and you learn it on a deep level, and we coach you and help you to actually activate him becoming your hero and being the video game for him. Because you're doing a lot of the things right. It sounds like you're doing some things right. I would have to go deeper and actually coach with you individually to hear more about how you're actually, and maybe we could do a role play, because that's one of the things we do in our coaching groups, is where I actually practice with you and role play, so you can actually experience what that's like to interact with him and have these conversations using magnetic feminine communication to activate his masculine and to come closer to you and want to protect and provide. So we want to look at, how are you actually sharing your feelings with him? Oh, whoops, I missed it here. You said you share with him that you're sad. That's good, but we want to be clear on how you're sharing with him, how you're feeling sad, because how you share it is very important, even in some ways more important than what you share, because he does need to feel your heart. He does need to feel all those emotions, the sadness, the anxiety, but we want to look at, how are you sharing that with him? Are you sharing it respectfully? Are you sharing it truly vulnerably? Are you expressing it with your body and your whole beingness when you're sharing that with him? But you're making it about yourself. You're not making it about him. And you can share the problems with him in a way that, again, makes it also about yourself and what you're experiencing, rather than it's specifically what he's doing or not doing, because that will likely just make him defensive and make him pull back or make him close up, which we don't want as well, because we want to inspire him to you. We want to inspire him to shift and inspire him to change. So he is giving you food. I would definitely appreciate him for the food. Anytime he's providing and he's giving from his masculine, you want to thank him for that, but do it also from the place of sharing how you feel and how he makes you feel when he does those things. That's going to activate more of his masculinity. And you need to have a deeper conversation with him, and we'll help you script it out of how to share with him the whole problem, that you're feeling neglected, essentially, that you are not being cared for, that it is making you feel sad, and other emotions that may be coming up, and the stories you're telling yourself and the realities of the situation, but not making it necessarily about him, which is, it takes a little bit of nuance with some of these communications, because it's so easy to slip into masculine communication and to start making it about him, blaming, criticizing, controlling, telling him what to do. And so it's going to take some practice for you to really learn these principles, how to actually share in a way that doesn't make it about him, but makes it about your experience and allows him to feel it, to hear it, to empathize, and to want to help. Because we want to activate him starting to help you more, starting to do more things for you, like providing the food, but doing so where he feels good about it and he's not feeling like it's an obligation, or that, you should be lucky and he's not your dad, so, you should be grateful for any crumb that you get from him. Yeah, he's not your dad, but he can still be your leader. He can still be your hero. He can still be your protector, your provider. He can still be your man. That's, doesn't mean he has to be your father, but there is a lot of positive traits with that are entering into him being your hero and being a strong man for you. But he's not owning it. He's not owning that reality for himself. So we need to activate that within him. And so those are just some basics that I'll go over with you for that, and it's a delicate situation. I'm sorry that you're stuck in that situation, but we can definitely help you and get you out of that. So stay engaged, go deeper, and I would love to also coach you with that if you want to at some point join some of our coaching memberships or learn from some of our courses, we can help you with more specifics on exactly what to say and do with him. So hope that was helpful, Em. Mary Beth said, dating sites are full of scammers. How can I identify them quickly? Are any sites better than another? Yeah, that's a good point, Mary. There is definitely a lot of scammers, and not just on dating. We had a scammer contacting us recently. Actually, kind of shook us up a little bit because some of them, they're getting very clever, not just for the dating stuff, but for our scams in general. I think AI is helping with that. But yeah, so basically, the way you avoid scammers, how to identify them, is first and foremost you have to talk on the phone, and ideally get in on a video chat to see that they're a real person and they are who they say they are and they look like their photos. That's the first thing to identify them. Also, a lot of the scammers will pretend to be, usually they're overseas. So if you're talking to anyone who's overseas, that's in and of itself potentially a red flag. They also will look like very handsome men, sometimes even as celebrities. They really try to push it. And they also will, what's the other thing that they will do? Oh, they'll ask you to get onto WhatsApp pretty quickly. They'll say, oh, I don't really like using the site, or I don't want to pay for the membership. You want to talk on WhatsApp. So they'll try to get you on WhatsApp, or they'll try to get you off the site as quick as they can so they don't get flagged and banned by the site. And then also, so if you're going to connect with them, do it over phone, and even over like a Zoom or something, so they may not have your personal phone number, but you want to do it over a video call ideally. And there's so many things. We've had so many stories. I even posted a post one time in our group, and we had women list all the ways that they've identified scammers and what the behaviors are that they will do. But typically they'll build up for a long time. They'll also come on very strong, very quickly. So they'll start saying things like, I have such strong feelings for you, or you're exactly what I'm looking for. Or they'll even say, I love you. I know you're my woman, or you're my soulmate. I know it. And we need to get together. I want to marry you. They'll be going like very quick, right? They'll move very quick because they're trying to get you emotionally hooked. They're trying to make you fall in love quickly and believe their words, because the feminine and women in general are more susceptible to words than men are. And also the actions are, like the words, the fantasies can be created. And this is true through even through sex. Women typically will come to orgasm more through a fantasy and a visualization, when men, they can often just come to orgasm just through the physical stimulation. So these are some of the differences in men and women. So you have to watch out for your brain going into fantasy mode of imagining that he is who he says he is, and this is all true, and you actually have found your husband, and this is all, you're all good now. You don't need to do any more dating, like this is set. And that's how they hook you in. And then eventually the scam will start, where they're either trying to get you to come to their country, or getting some kind of, they want you to fly them into your country to visit them, get a green card, or to just get some money. There's a financial scams as well, where they're trying to, they'll act like they're some very rich man, and then they will later on tell you that they're in a tricky situation. They need some financial help to get out of this situation so they can come visit you, or they're going to pay you back right away with interest, or they're going to pay you double what you lent them. That they're asking for like a loan of sorts. So there's a good film on Netflix called The Tinder Swindler, and that goes deeper into some of the tactics some of these scammers will use. But as far as which sites are better, depending on your age range, there's different sites that are better, like Match.com and eHarmony are better for women who are past the age of 45. And then Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, some of these are better. Not Tinder, Hinge and Bumble are better for some of the women younger than 45. So those are just some basic things. We actually have a whole course that we teach as well on magnetic feminine online dating and how to do it properly. So I'd recommend highly, if you're in this stage, to do it right and go through that course, which again, you can get access to that by taking the quiz that we have at magnetizeyourman.com or in the links below, to join potentially one of our courses or our coaching memberships, so that we can really help you with this and get you on the right track, because it's better to do it right, and rather than wasting time and spending lots of money or getting scammed and losing thousands of dollars, or just having a men totally lie to you because you don't know the tactics that we'll teach you. So hopefully that was helpful, Mary Beth. Yeah, another question from M. We already addressed that. Okay, so Morima said, please give me an advice as a deploy fiance. Okay, I don't know what that means. I'm sorry, Marema, I don't understand. You could try rephrasing the question again, and maybe I will understand it later. Um, Patricia said, first time here. Welcome, Patty. Glad to have you. Okay, so Mariama gave some more context. How do I apply this in a long distance relationship? He is almost a month, but we don't know how much longer he will be there yet. Can you please give me some advice? Yeah, you want to use a lot of the same principles. Virtually it's just as effective, but you want to be able to signal to him your feelings and share and ask for respectfully request what you desire through phone calls or through communication, and keeping your heart open. Even though you're long distance, you can still keep your heart open with him and share your feelings as they come up. Share all of your feelings, the good and the bad, quote unquote, because there's no really any bad feelings. But you can share all the feelings that are coming up for your heart using magnetic feminine communication. That'll allow him to stay connected to you and allow him to feel you and to maintain the polarity and the attraction even over distance, so that he's eager to want to see you again. He's excited to come back and be your man and potentially bring you back some gifts and be your hero, because he feels the connection still to you emotionally, primarily. And you can, of course, weave in different things like, virtual sex hangouts or whatever they call them these days. I've never done that personally, but you can do different things you can do virtually to kind of have some level of intimacy with each other. You can do that if you're at that point in your relationship, if you're exclusive and committed, which it sounds like you are, where he's claimed you. And and then while he's away as well, enjoying the process, like we talked about earlier in this training, and having fun and still living your life, still in doing things that you enjoy and are bringing you into your feminine energy, such as hobbies that get you out in nature, connection with girlfriends that lift you up, being part of communities of other women that are working on themselves, that are learning, that are growing, like such as in our coaching communities and our memberships, and in this training here, this live stream that you're on. So these are all going to help you to lift you up into becoming a more high value feminine woman, and also enjoying the process when you're not with him, so that you're not getting completely desperate and completely collapsing when you're not with him. We want to avoid that and create a situation where you're still whole within yourself. You're able to share with him what's coming up, but you're also bringing the energy back to you and filling your own cup up so that it overflows, and that he wants to be with you and he feels that magnetism, and you become the flame that he wants to be back with, that magnetic pole, that magnetic, beautiful, radiant woman. Hope that was helpful, Mariama. Morema. Sunshiny said, X still wants to be friends. I feel like he's emotionally avoidant. Things started to get serious, and then he said he was in a bad place mentally, so he broke up with me. I still care about him. Are there any ways to fix this? Yeah, well, the good thing is he still wants to be friends with you, which means that he's still open to communication. And as long as he's still communicating with you and available, that means we can use the principles of magnetic feminine communication and magnetic feminine polarity to restart the relationship and spark back the romance. And once you can do that, then you can have the relationship again, potentially. So we need to give it some time. So we're going to need to implement a 90-day challenge, the magnetic feminine 90-day challenge, likely. But you want to start using what we're going to teach you, practicing with him, how to use magnetic feminine communication to be open, vulnerable, respectful with him, with your feelings, and not crossing boundaries, because he did break up with you. So we want to make sure you're not penetrating him energetically and crossing his boundaries that will make him uncomfortable. But within that range, there's still a lot you can do, and a lot that you can express to him, and a lot that you can be and feel when you're with him that can re-spark this. It also depends a lot on why the relationship ended and how things went down. If there was any infidelity involved, or if there was anything else that led to, you said him being in a bad place, if he's still grieving the loss of somebody in his family, or if he has some other big mental health issue that he's dealing with. So there's some things we have to take into context to help strategize the plan of how to be with him and how to best interact to start moving the relationship upwards. Remember, getting on that upward spiral, that upward journey, to having him start to feel more connected to you, to start pursuing you, chasing you, being more committed and devoted. So we're going to need to go deeper into that, but definitely we can help you with that. And so you're in the right place. And I'd recommend getting some coaching support because those situations always can be a little tricky. And we just got to make sure we navigate it properly to bring him closer to you rather than potentially pushing him further away, which we want to avoid. So hope that was helpful. Sherry said, my ex-boyfriend met up with me for the first time in a while, meaning around 4 months after he went silent. That's good to hear. Congrats. Glad to hear that, Sherry. And I thought maybe his ex-girlfriend is in the picture, but who knows, really. But now he reaches out. Well, the good thing is he's reaching out. So whenever a man is reaching out to you and you enjoy it, you want to share that appreciation with him. I love it when you reach out. It makes me feel so cared for, or thanks for reaching out. You can just keep it simple, but you want to share generally your feelings. I love having the talks that we have. It makes me feel connected to you, or I feel great, or I feel happy, or I feel safe, or I feel cherished, or I feel adored, or I feel seen or safe. I think I mentioned safe already. So there's a lot of different feelings that you can feel, but you have to listen to your body first, because all magnetic feminine principles derive first from your body. We want to listen into your body and what's going on in there and how you're feeling in your heart and your gut, because that can drive a lot of the ability to connect to a man and to have him be compelled to want to connect to your body and your heart and care for it. So we have to always listen in. You have to listen into what are you actually feeling and what emotions are coming up for you. And then how can we share those with him respectfully and vulnerably? And when is the right time? And how should we structure those conversations? And that's where the principles come in. But yeah, in general, it's going to be good for you because he is in connection. So you're in the right place. We can help you. And we just want to make sure we continue to open up that connection. Because yeah, we don't know what's going on for him. He may have an ex-girlfriend. He may be dating someone else. We don't know. Let's just focus on your connection with him. And when he does reach out, how can you have great conversations with him? And how can ideally you also make a request to talk with him on the phone if you're not talking with him on the phone already, or get him have an in-person meeting with him, so he can really feel your heart and really start to connect with you on that deeper level. Who knows why he went silent? It's going to be good to have the conversation around that as well, respectfully, to ask him more questions around that and to share how that made you feel when he went silent for 4 months, because that's definitely not showing care for your heart. It's not showing devotion. So we need to address that with him, because it's disconnecting. It's not him being in his masculine leadership to disconnect with you like that. Just like in a dance, it'd be really weird if you're dancing with a guy and all of a sudden the guy stops dancing with you and you just start floating away, or he starts floating away. That's not a good lead in a dance, right? The dance is going to fall apart if a man just stops leading you, if he just stops dancing. So it needs to be addressed. And it might have likely left you with a lot of confusion and feelings of sadness and disappointment and even some anger. So we need to address that with him vulnerably, but also respectfully, so that he can understand the impact of his actions and that he sees your high value because you're willing to speak up and be the queen and share your feelings and desires when they come up. And that can potentially shift everything for you. So I hope that was helpful, Sherry. And just the start. You're on the right place, and that's just the start of your journey. And we'll definitely help you more with that if you want it. So Barbara said, can we use the same techniques in business? Yes, you can. Because what works well in business is also very similar to what would work well in a relationship. Because ultimately, you want to be respectful. You also want to be vulnerable, but doing it in the right way, right? So in business, is it going to be helpful to have people feel more connected to you rather than less connected to you? Well, probably it's going to be helpful if your employees, your coworkers, your boss, other business people, if they feel more connected to your heart, if they feel more connected to you as a woman, if they understand you more, if they are feeling that they like you, that they value you, that's going to be helpful, right? And then, of course, in business, it's helpful to get people to do things that you want them to do. But the best way to get people to do things that you want them to do is not always telling them what to do, but requesting them and using respectful and sometimes vulnerable communication to inspire them to want to do. Because if you tell someone what to do, if you say, hey, I need that project done by tomorrow, can you get it to me? Usually they'll say, sure, they'll do it. And sometimes, that's like a very generous example. Sometimes in business, you'll see people be a lot more demanding than that. But it's going to be much more likely you get a positive result, that they actually want to give you the work. They actually are feeling excited to give you the work if you can inspire them to want to give that to you through how you make those requests. And also even beyond how you make the requests, but sharing them with them more. What's the actual problem? What's the problem for the business? What's the problem you're running into? How do you communicate problems properly in business? That'll inspire people to receive that, to understand what the problem is, and then for them to come up with the solution themselves. So you don't have to constantly be coming up with solutions yourself in business, which would be you being in the masculine, right? The masculine solves problems. The feminine is sharing problems. So this will help you move up in the company or move up in your own business when you're able to share problems and inspire those around you and, potentially your employees to want to do those things for you because they understand the problem and they are taking initiative themselves, that they are solving the problem themselves rather than having to constantly come to you or rely on you to solve the problems. So it's very powerful techniques to use because what we're using is principles that helps you to inspire somebody to connect with you more, to value you more, and to want to help you, to want to provide, and to want to give to you. That's what you want to activate in your man, and that's also what you can activate with people around you, which is why we recommend in our coaching courses, we recommend our clients when they join, one of the first things we recommend to them is that you start to practice these principles that we're going to teach you with everyone in your world, not just the man that you're interested in, but also potentially your friends, your family, your coworkers, your employees, people you run into on your daily life. You start to practice these principles in this magnetic feminine communication so that when you're with a guy that you really like, also, first and foremost, it becomes natural. It becomes like breathing for you. It becomes just so easy because you've practiced it and because you've been doing it so often that it's a second nature. And that way you're just constantly magnetizing towards you. You're constantly drawing towards you and your whole life will change. So hope that was helpful, Barbara. Because your life will change when you start shifting from the masculine into the feminine and your magnetic feminine, the way that we teach it, your whole life is going to shift because people in general will start to want to provide and do more things for you. And then also you're just going to feel better because you're more connected to your feminine instincts and your feminine core of who you really are. Because every woman at her core has a feminine core and every man at his core has a masculine core. You're going to tap in more to that feminine core and you're just going to be happier. You're going to feel better and you'll be shocked at how all the different ways your life will start transforming. Hope that was helpful, Barbara. Janet said, where do we go for coaching? So yeah, Janet, if you want specific individual coaching and to go deep with me and with some of our coaches such as Kevin, some of you might know him, the first thing is to definitely take our free quiz, the Magnetize Your Man quiz, because that'll give you some of the resources that we get you some principles to start understanding the principles that we're teaching and what specifically to do. And then depending on your answers, we'll have a specific recommendation for you if we were to do coaching together, what that would look like. And we have our coaching memberships and different levels and also very affordable options too. And we go really deep with the women that we want to work with to really help you transform your life quickly and get the relationship you want with your man, because there's so many things that you could unintentionally do wrong that could push him away and cause the relationship to fail and cause him to totally outright reject you, which we want to avoid. So we want to make sure we're doing all the things properly in the right way so we can make sure he comes closer to you and wants a deeply loving, committed relationship with you fast, guaranteed. We have to make sure we put everything in the right place for that. So that's where the coaching support is so valuable. So yeah, the first place is always to take the free quiz, and that'll get you into our world and give you all the ideas, the principles, the resources to start helping you on your journey for us to personally guide you, and me personally as well, to guide you. Because there's only so much we can do in contexts like this, and there's so many women that want our support, and only so many women we could really invest into to really get them the incredible lives that they want and really pour into them to make sure sometimes it's little tweaks, but sometimes it's also big shifts that you weren't even aware of, that you didn't even know, that we help you to see through our courses and through that specific individual coaching. So hope that was helpful, Janet. Point you in the right direction. Would love to have you and would love to go deeper with you on that. And then another question I had here, Pamela said, thank you and amen. You're welcome. Sherry said, thanks for that as well. You're welcome, Sherry. Excited to go deeper with you with that. And then Sherry also said, when he reaches out, he never talks about us and he avoids the relationship thing, but he will meet up at a hotel or someplace outside of his home, but he is avoiding us being together at home. Yeah, so if that's the case, Sherry, there's likely big chance that he's hiding something. He may be married secretly, or he may have another girlfriend or some situation that he doesn't want you to know about. So, yeah, he's basically keeping you on a string and It's not okay. I mean, it's not good for a relationship. It's not a healthy connection. So there's a couple things. You either have to use what we're teaching you and the magnetic feminine 90-day challenge to change the relationship with him and to shift things once and for all, or you need to just decide to walk away from this guy and be done with it, because you need to also value yourself. But likely what I recommend is doing the 90-day challenge first. And if he doesn't shift dramatically and start really pursuing you and get the relationship on an upward spiral, using the principles that we teach and the language we'll give you and exactly what to do, then you do need to be able to set a boundary with yourself and be willing to walk away. Because that's what a high value, feminine, queenly woman would do. She wouldn't stay in a situation where a man he's avoiding a relationship, or he isn't showing care for your heart, or he's not talking about you and your relationship, or he's not willing to meet up at a real place rather than a hotel, which sounds like it's just for sex, which is also not good. Because a man, you want to have a situation where a man is claiming you before you're in a sexual situationship with a man or friends with benefits situation. Because if he hasn't claimed you, he hasn't fully activated his masculine devotion, he's likely just going to continue to string you along unless you use what we teach you and how we'll shift things around for you, because that's a tricky situation to be caught into, and we want to avoid that. So those are just some ideas to point you in the right direction, but we need to be able to either do one of those things, either start fully using magnetic feminine polarity, magnetic feminine communication with him to shift things and give him some time to adjust to you really fully being in your feminine. Because here's the thing, we're also not just teaching you to be feminine. Like if we were just teaching you to be feminine, that would get a good response from men, but it also wouldn't really cause a man to want to devote himself to you long term and want to value and respect you and see you as his woman that is his wife or his queen. So we also need to make you to inspire him and inspire yourself using the principles to make you a feminine, valuable woman. So you're being feminine, but you're also being high value. When we combine the two of them, that's what creates magic in a relationship. So you're highly feminine and you're high value, meaning you own the worth within yourself. You own that you are a valuable, worthy woman, and we will teach you and get you on the path to being that high value woman. But we need to have both so that he's compelled to you, because femininity is the most powerful thing in the universe, really, to attract a man to draw him to you. And we also want you to be high value, which means being willing to speak up, being willing to share your emotions with him, being willing to set boundaries with yourself, being willing to have standards with yourself, and also potentially being willing to walk away. So that's what we're doing with him. We're going to activate you, still continuing to grow your femininity, but we're also going to add in this high value piece, and that comes through and is apparent through your communication with him, how you become a high value feminine woman that he just cherishes and adores and never wants to leave from your side. So we're going to combine both of those for you, Sherry. That's the key with that. So I hope that is helpful and gets you started on the right path. You're in the right place, Sherry. We'll continue to help you with that, because this is going to be something very important for you to have extra help and support with, because it's a very delicate situation as well. We don't want it to go south or go sour. We want to avoid that. Somebody else had a question. She said, how should I react when he compares me to his ex as acting in bed or saying yes to everything what he wants or making time for him whenever he wants? So how should I react when he compares me to his ex, such as how you act in bed, or that you are saying yes to everything he wants and making time for him whenever he wants? Oh, so those are more examples of how he's comparing you to his ex. Well, in some ways, it sounds like his ex wasn't really a high value woman. That she was feminine, but she wasn't high value, like we were talking about with Sherry. I might have switched the hands with that. But so what we want to activate for him is, it doesn't matter. He can compare you to whoever, whatever. It doesn't matter. What really matters is just who are you being in that relationship with him, and forget about the ex, basically. We want to forget about the ex, because ultimately we can't control his ex. She has nothing to do with you. You are your own woman. He can compare you if he wants. But ultimately, what we want to address is how you are being with him and how we can shift your energy to not just be feminine. Because here's the other thing. So we talk about the queen, right? Being the queen in the middle. And this goes along with the feminine, the high value pieces. If we look at the queen is the perfect, it's like a crown on your head, right? The queen is the perfect high value feminine woman. She's combining both of the energies that make you high value and feminine. Now, what are some of the things that can make a man see you as potentially low value? That would be being the doormat. Now, being the doormat is an archetype we talk about and we teach in our courses of really a woman who doesn't speak up, who is way too passive. She is, in a way, she's almost overly feminine or overly, like she won't speak up. She won't address issues. She just submits and does everything that he says and everything that he wants, even if it doesn't feel good for her. So when you're doing that, it's not actually healthy submission and following his leadership. It's actually complying and going against your own values and going against your own feelings, which is not okay. That's how a man will not see you as high value if you're the doormat. He may enjoy you and he may connect with you and he may actually be attracted to you, but he's not going to really value you and respect you. So we want to avoid just being the doormat. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we also have what we call the bitch archetype. Now, the bitch archetype is a woman who is very aggressive with a man. She's telling him what to do. She's also very masculine often. She is penetrating him energetically. She is not nice and taking advantage of him in some ways also potentially. But the bitch is very high value in a sense. Like she's respectable. She is valuing herself. She's very self-focused. She's even selfish, overly self-focused, right? She's not considering his needs and she's only focused on herself, and she's aggressive and demanding and manipulative often. But there's good traits about her, as there are good traits about the doormat as well. So what we want to do is we're taking the best of both traits, the ability to speak up and be assertive from the bitch, and the ability to be feminine, open, and vulnerable and warm from the doormat energies. We're combining that to be the queen crown. I'll find a different way to do that. Whatever. You're just being the queen, and that's high value and feminine. That makes a man respect you and be attracted to you and value you because he feels the warmth, he feels the openness, and he wants to be your protector, provider, hero from that place. So that's what we've got to get you to, and that's what we're going to work on and help you with, how to combine the energies, because it sounds like in the past you may have been more on the doormat side of things, which we want to get out of that and start moving you more towards the queen, more towards the healthy integration of both of those energies so you can become a complete woman that men respect and value, and that has everything that she desires because she is being high value and open and available. So hopefully that was helpful. And so let me see here. Hannah said first time here. Welcome, Hannah. Glad to have you here. Keki said hello as well. Getting a lot of hellos, which is great to see. Welcome to the training here. Glad to have you. Moriyama said, thank you so much for advice. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. A lot of these principles we're teaching you are not necessarily easy. They're simple. Some of them are very simple, but they're not necessarily going to be easy for you, which means it's going to take some courage. It's going to take some ability to be raw and real and authentic and vulnerable, which is also why we call this often the no games method, because you're being so authentic and vulnerable with a man, but you're doing so respectfully. But it's going to take some courage, and it's going to involve you stepping out of your comfort zone, being willing to take a risk, being willing to put yourself out there, being willing to do something new and change who you were, change the old patterns. We're taking off some of the armor, some of the old masculine patterns or the doormat patterns or the bitch patterns. We're taking off some of these old patterns, some of these old layers, some of these old masks so we can get to the core of who you really are and what's actually going on for you in your heart, being that core feminine. So we're getting back to your essence, but it's going to feel scary because you're removing layers of armor, which is going to feel exposed, right? When you take off the armor, it's going to feel, whoa, I'm exposed here. I could get hurt. I could get rejected. I could have a man not like me. Well, there's a lot of things that could happen, but if you're not vulnerable and open and exposed to a man, he's not able to ever really connect with your heart and to really want to be inspired into being his hero, protector, provider, because you haven't activated that through your feminine polarity. You haven't activated that instinct within him. So we do have to find ways to help you. And that's why, having coaching support and getting advice and the little tweaks that we'll make with you, and even practicing the role plays with me, will help you to actually know what it feels like in your body to be in your feminine, to be magnetic, to be open, and we'll help you. We'll support you along the way so you don't have to do it all on your own. Like, you're going to have us there with you. And in fact, we'll do a lot of it for you as far as crafting some of the original messages to send to him and how to have these conversations with him and what to say and how to address certain issues that you're having with him, because there's little tweaks that'll make all the difference between having him come closer to you or pushing him away unintentionally. So we want to be able to tweak those things for you and help you with that. So getting that mentorship, getting coaching support is going to be really helpful in this process as well, because yes, it can be scary and it can be daunting. So don't do it on your own. Don't do it on your own. Part of feminine energy is asking for and getting help and support, right? You want help and support from your man. And so we can actually help get you into that. We can help you to practice receiving, to practice being in your feminine, to allow us to help you and to provide for you and to get you in the relationship that you want to be in. And that's how you can, just through that process, be more in your feminine. So you create these upward spirals in your relationship. So it's a beautiful harmony that happens when you actually are willing to step out of your comfort zone and get support and get coaching and take the leap and really master some of these principles so you can connect to who you really are at your core. Before all the wounds, before all the trauma, before things that might have hurt you in your childhood or in your early relationships or with men in general, some things that might have hurt you, how we can move past that, how we can integrate it and help you to open up again, help you to be trusting, to be available, to be in your feminine and be allowing a man to support you and provide and give to you. So you can actually receive his care. It's not always easy to receive. Sometimes it's scary to actually receive a man's care. What it will feel like when your man is actually devoting himself to you and actually providing for you in all different ways, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, sexually. There could be all different ways a man can provide for you and give to you, but he'll likely do all of them once we activate your feminine polarity. And so it's going to be then a practice of receiving. How do you actually allow a man in? Allow him to actually do those things for you without closing up again, without getting scared, without fearing that you're going to get rejected. So it's a process. Okay, so Carmen said, how do you deal with a lustful man? He never compliments me anymore, nor does he seem to even notice me. He is consistently complimenting other women in front of me, and it makes me feel not desirable and not enough for him anymore. Yeah, well, that's not good. Not so much the issue that he's lustful. I mean, the masculine energy is about chasing and pursuing and hunting and giving and providing and, and the basic biological levels, fertilizing, having sex, having children, like expanding their territory. Like these are a lot of masculine drives. Now, the key is he being a masculine hero for you? Or is he just doing it for other people, but not for you? And that means he's not respecting you. That means he's not really cherishing you and not devoting himself to you. Now, the first thing, that doesn't mean he's completely a bad man. He could just be, you haven't set those boundaries with yourself, or you haven't had those conversations with him to allow him to see your value and to allow him to actually respect you and to want to not do those things, to be inspired to care for your heart. So that's what we have to activate within him, is how can we activate him actually being, understanding what's going on for you and how you feel in those moments when he is looking at other women or when he is complimenting other women, or staring at them or hitting on them or whatever. You need to have those conversations with him. You need to be able and willing to have those conversations with him of like what emotions came up for you with that. So the ideal is you get into this beautiful dance with a man where he's doing things and then you're listening into your body and saying, how did that make me feel? How did that make me feel in my heart? How did it make me feel in my gut? What sensations are there? Then you can start to put labels on it potentially. What emotion was that? Was it anxiety? Was it fear? Was it sadness? Was it anger? Was it confusion? Was it frustration? Was it shame? Was it guilt? So there's a lot of emotions that you can feel when a man is doing something. And so then you need to share those emotions with him. Share your heart with him. But we want to do so, again, respectfully, so that you're not just dumping those emotions on him, penetrating him energetically, or you're actually using your emotions to tell him what to do, to try to control him, to try to manipulate him. Because here's the thing, there are no ugly emotions. Your emotions are beautiful. And a man wants to feel all of your emotions because that's your feminine. He wants to feel your heart. He wants to connect to your heart. But the key is he doesn't want you to nag at him or to criticize him or to tell him what to do or to try to manipulate him or control him. Like those are all using your emotions often in a way that's ugly, in a way that's trying to control him. So we say put those labels on there. But so what we're doing with what we teach you around magnetic feminine polarity, magnetic feminine communication, is how do you actually be able to share and have these deeper conversations with a man, ideally on the phone or in person, so that you can share respectfully, share your feelings where you're not making it about him, you're making it more about yourself and what's coming up for you. And then you may have to have several of those conversations with him. Again, that's why I would highly recommend doing the Magnetic Feminine 90-Day Challenge, because then you give yourself some time to really learn these principles, to learn how to communicate with him properly, and to have him get used to you being in your feminine and him being in his masculine. Because he may have to learn how to actually be a devoted man, how to actually care for your heart, how to lead you properly, how to protect your heart, rather than do things that would hurt your heart. So we have to give him some time as well to learn. He's going to make some mistakes along the journey, but he's going to start getting ideally better and better at showing care for your heart and progressing, making the right efforts and showing progress. And so you have to give it some time, and you're going to practice these things, and he's going to learn while you're doing it as well, because he's going to naturally start feeling your heart and responding more from his masculine, because you're, through the law of polarity, inspiring him into his masculine. Because remember, the law of polarity states that opposite energies attract. So feminine energy attracts masculine energy. So the more feminine you become, the more high value, feminine, magnetic you become, the more you're going to inspire him, your man or men in general, to be more high value, masculine, devoted men. How to be more in their healthy masculine. So we're inspiring him. It's gonna be a process, but he's gonna start, as you start to learn, and we're gonna help you to get up here. He's gonna start to be pulled up more into here as well, where he's gonna be devoting himself to you more, showing care for your heart, wanting to be respectful, and not wanting to do those things that are making you feel bad, that are making you feel sad or hurt or angry or upset, because you're sharing in a way that doesn't make it about him, but makes it about yourself and what's coming up for you. And you're still able to share the problem of like what you witnessed or what happened, but you're doing it in a way where he can actually absorb it. And we have very specific scripts that will teach you on how to have those conversations with him, to share the problem respectfully. And it's also dependent on your specific situation, because every situation is slightly different, like this situation and him looking at other women, and how do you actually explain that to him, what he did and how you felt about that. But that's going to inspire him to step more into his leadership and want to protect and provide for you. So that's going to be the process. But the main thing is you have to speak up. The main thing is you can't just not say anything, because that's not okay. And that's also that would be you being in the doormat archetype, where the doormat doesn't say anything. Now the bitch would say, "You asshole, why are you looking at other women? How can you do this to me? Who do you think I am? Who do you think you are? You can't do this. I'm a high value woman. I'm better than this. I'm leaving you. You go screw yourself." Like that would be more the bitch energy, rather than as the queen, where you're able to have a communication with him that's somewhere in the middle between those two extremes, where you're able to communicate and share, which shows that you're a high value, that you're able to respect yourself and you're able to speak up. Because here's the thing as well. A high value woman believes that her heart matters, that her feelings are important, that her requests are valuable, that she's worth a man wanting to help, provide for, give to, be the hero for. So when you're actually behaving like a high value woman through what we teach you, you're proving to yourself, first and foremost, that you are a high value woman. And then he gets to see you as a high value woman. He gets to interact with and experience you as a high value woman. He says, shoot, I didn't know this is actually a high value woman. Oh my gosh, look at what she's doing. Look at how she's speaking. Like, she's high value. I need to respect her more. I need to be more on my high value masculine, or else I could risk losing her. I need to be on my A game. So I don't want to lose her from my life. I don't want to lose a high value woman from my life. And on top of that, I'm more attracted to her now. And I want her. So I don't want to lose a woman that I want and that I'm attracted to and that I desire. So I got to be on my A game. I'm not going to screw this up. So that's the response that you're going to inspire within a man when you are doing this properly, and when you actually activate that within him, that you will shift his energy and draw him to you. So I hope that was helpful, Carmen. And then Cynthia said, how do you maintain femininity when he is in his feminine energy? So again, that metaphor, opposite energies attract. If he's in his feminine energy, so let's say this is you and this is him. So he's in his feminine energy. He's down here in his feminine, and maybe that's made you more in your masculine. Now what we need to do is we need to shift it. We need to shift the dynamic by you going into your femininity. You basically, all you have to do is become more feminine than him. So if he's already a feminine man, you just have to become more feminine than him. And we'll help you with that. We'll teach you. This is magnetic feminine polarity right here. How do you become more feminine than him? So you inspire him to become more masculine. Feminine energy attracts masculine energy. So you have to be more feminine than he is for you to aspire him into his masculine, because every man has a masculine core at his center. There's a masculine hero living inside of this man. You may be not seeing it, and you may be doubting if it actually exists, but every man has this masculine core inside. It may be very buried, and it may be hard to activate, but it can be activated. And it will be activated when you are in your feminine, because that's really the only way you can activate it. He's not going to do it on his own. He's not just going to one day wake up and be in his healthy masculine, the law of polarity has to be activated. Somebody, hopefully you, is going to be enough in her feminine that's going to inspire him into his masculine hero. Somebody's got to do it, or else he'll never shift. And that's also the beautiful thing through the law of polarity is I don't need to coach him. Like, a lot of people will go to couples coaching or whatever to try to fix their relationship. The beautiful thing is through the law of polarity, we actually don't need to do couples coaching. Like, we don't need to coach him at all. Like, as long as I can shift you, I'll do it this way again. As long as I can shift you more into your feminine, we can shift him more into his masculine. We just have to change you. If we could shift you, if we could shift your energy, and it's a beautiful thing as I have you here, that, God, whatever brought you to us here, God brought you to us to help you shift your energy into your feminine so that you can shift him into his masculine. Like, you're here by a miracle that we can shift you to change the relationship. We don't have to shift him. I mean, it would be beautiful if actually he found his own resources and he was looking online for all the videos that are out there about, for men and how to help men with their masculine energy and masculinity. But we don't need to shift him, really. We just need to shift you. If we can shift you, we can shift him, because now we have the law of polarity working in our favor, and he will start to shift. But you do need to give it some time. I would recommend the Magnetic Feminine 90-Day Challenge, to give it 90 days to start to shift the energy within him. But you can move him into becoming a hero and becoming your hero and being a much more high-value masculine man. So the way you maintain that feminine, because I know your original question was, how do I maintain the feminine? Because it's hard. I want to be in my feminine, but how do I stay here? Because somebody's got to take the lead. It's just like if you're in a car, if you're both, if neither of you are taking the steering wheel in the car, nobody's going to drive. The car's not going anywhere. And you may just be okay with that. The car may not go for a while. Nobody's going to be the leader for a while, but you don't want to step into that role. And then you have to keep using what we teach you and actually having conversations with him. So what I'd recommend is allowing us to help you craft the powerful conversation that you're going to have with him around this whole dynamic, around how all the different ways you feel he is being more feminine. And maybe in the past you've been more in your masculine, but if you've been taking the lead with things, if you've been giving and providing for him, maybe financially you've been supporting him in some ways, or whatever else the case may be. But to have a conversation with him vulnerably and respectfully around how this makes you feel, how this situation has affected you, so that we can allow him to connect to your heart, allow him to feel your heart, which is actually great because you're being feminine in that moment. You're in your feminine. So you're allowing him to then feel your heart, be connected to your heart, so that he understands the problem. He understands what's going on, and you can describe the problem effectively to him, so that then he wants to shift. He's inspired into shifting, and he understands where things are at, because maybe he won't shift right away, but we plant a seed with that conversation. We plant a seed, and maybe a series of conversations that we have with him, where he then starts to really understand what's going on and how you feel, and now he doesn't want you to feel that way. He doesn't want to be making you feel sad anymore, or making you feel disappointment, or making you feel anxiety. Like, he wants to make you feel good, because he has a masculine core. He's going to feel good when you're feeling good at some level. So he's going to want to make you feel good, and we're going to activate that more within him. So you need to have some open, vulnerable, respectful conversations with him using magnetic feminine communication. And then you're just going to have to practice. And sometimes you just have to be in a relationship with him where things aren't progressing, where nothing's happening, but you're continuing to be in your feminine rather than moving into your masculine, and continuing to have these feminine conversations with him, so that over time he starts to step up in small ways, and then he starts to step up more in bigger ways. And you reward him for that with your appreciation, with sharing how it makes you feel. And then you can get in that positive dynamic, in that positive upward spiral. And yeah, it is going to take some courage, and it's going to take probably some effort really on your part to not move into the masculine if you've been in the masculine with him in the past, but we're going to help you with that. And that's why having a community around you, having accountability, having amazing women who are also learning these principles together is going to really help you to stay in that feminine energy and not be tempted back into your masculine. And then the last thing I'll say with him is, ultimately, if he's not able to shift into his masculine, because here's the thing as well, there is a percentage of men who are broken. They're deeply broken. It's about, I would just guesstimate, and this is based on studies as well, it's about 5 to 10% of the male population, and it's about the same with women. It's a little higher for men though. But about 5 to 10% of the male population is deeply damaged, and they're not capable of being in their healthy masculine. Like, they may still have a masculine core, but that they have so many wounds inside of them, they have so many traumas and things that are broken within them that they just can't do it. They're sociopaths, they're narcissists, they are just deeply, deeply avoidant attachment styles that can't even be reconciled. And they're just broken men. They're damaged damaged goods. Unfortunately, those men may never be capable of showing you the care that you want and the care that you desire. But ultimately, if we use the 90-day challenge and we're using everything we teach you, and you're getting coaching support ideally, and we're crafting these messages and these conversations with him, and if he hasn't shifted over time, then you'll know if you're dealing with a broken man or not, because vulnerability is going to be the best test of a man. Vulnerability is going to be the best test. Respectful vulnerability is going to be the best test to see what kind of man he is. Most men are going to respond well. 90% of men are going to respond well. It may take some time, but they're going to respond well, and they're going to eventually shift into their high value, devoted masculine energy, and they're going to care for you and be your hero, protector, provider in ways that would probably shock you. But there is a percentage of men that are deeply broken and that they just will never shift. And so, unfortunately, in those situations, you may have to walk away. At some point, you may have to be willing to walk away, that he may not be capable of giving you the care and devotion that you need and being in his healthy masculine. And you have to set a boundary with yourself that you're not willing to be in your masculine first and foremost. You're not willing to lead from your masculine in the relationship, that you're not going to go anywhere because you know where that road leads down, and it's not fulfilling, and it ends up you having to be his mommy, and you have to be his caretaker and to be his protector and provider, hero for him, and that you don't want to go down that route anymore. And you want a man who cares for you, and you want a man who cherishes your heart and who adores you and devotes himself to you and is taking care of you in his own ways, being a giving to you, protecting you, providing for you, being the hero, solving problems, leading things forward, committing to you. So, and if he's not willing to give that, then the ultimate boundary is you have to be willing to walk away. I mean, if it's not able to get there, the ultimate boundary is you have to be willing to walk away. The boundary you set with yourself, that you're not going to accept that lower standard. You're not going to accept being in your masculine, nor are you going to accept staying in a relationship with a broken man or in a situation that's just not progressing forward. So, hope that was helpful, Cynthia. And then Karen said, the guy I was dating doesn't make an effort to see me or go out, but yet will travel everywhere around town with other individuals. Yeah, he's not valuing you. He's not valuing you, and there's probably not a lot of polarity there as well. So we need to work on both of those things for you, Karen. So you're definitely in the right place, because that's a case where a man is not showing really any care for you, and we need to shift that dynamic. So you're in the right place, and we're going to help you, because the only things you really need to solve this is magnetic feminine polarity and magnetic feminine communication, which will get you on the right track and will shift the relationship. And ideally, all of that within the container of our magnetic feminine 90-day challenge, because that's where we teach this for you, and that's where we'll do it for you and coach you along the way as well. So highly recommend that, Karen. You're in the right place. I know it's tough. I'm sorry that you're going through that, but we're going to definitely help you get out of that and have a man start to treat you like a priority and not an option, and start to devote himself to you. It's going to take a little bit of time and going to take some shifts, but we can definitely get you there. And we just need to get you on the right track with him and get you out of the any masculine behaviors that might be there, and also start causing him to respect and value you, to see you as a high value woman that he never wants to lose from his side. So much love. Hope this was helpful today. Again, if you haven't yet, all this process starts, all this work really directs everything towards you taking the free quiz. That's the next best step to really get on this path, to activate a man's devotion, to have him love and adore you and be attracted to you on a deep level. So if you haven't yet, highly recommend taking our free Magnetize Your Man quiz, which you can get by clicking on the special link in the description or comments below this video, or in our bio, depending on where you're watching this. Or you can also get it by going to our website at magnetizeyourman.com. And we would love to continue to coach you and support you and get you on the right track with the 90-day challenge with magnetic feminine polarity, magnetic feminine communication, where we'll actually do this for you. We'll craft the scripts for you. I'll coach you. I'll be able to even potentially role play with you if that's going to be helpful for your situation, where we practice how to actually have conversations with him that activate him into his masculine devotion, to shift your relationship, to do a complete 180, a complete turnaround, where now he is a completely different man almost with you, or you're shocked by how much he now loves and respects and adores you. And we do all that for you guaranteed, because we've done it so long and we've seen the results so many times with so many success stories, that we can't wait to have you be our next success story as well. So again, take the free quiz. Much love. Hope this was helpful today. Look forward to talking to you again very soon, and continue the journey. Bye-bye.